Welcome back to another episode of Man Reacts. Have you ever wondered why there's such a big difference in the way people date compared to how they dated 2 or 3 decades ago? I feel the entire idea of having a relationship and being committed to someone is changing every passing year. What was once exciting and beautiful is now temporary and unoriginal. It's actually repetitive. It's the same deal. It usually starts in a bar or online on Tinder. The guy swipes right, the girl swipes back. They chat, share some images, talk about their interests, and keep interacting until there's a whole hormonal buildup of attraction. Then they meet once or twice and get physical. Sometimes it lasts, but mostly it doesn't. One of them finds the other boring, or one of them ghosts the other one, or they just realize they want something different, and the cycle continues and repeats itself over and over again. It damages a guy's self-esteem, while it constantly provides an ego massage to the woman because the amount of attention and free validation that a woman gets online and in the real world can never be compared to the downright rejections and ignored messages a man gets on a daily basis. The era we now live in has changed significantly from how society and culture were 7 or 8 decades ago. When I think about these developments, one thing stands out to me in particular. Why are males approaching women differently now than they used to? What took place during this period? Men chase women around and make idiots of themselves, but do they really want to be with them? No matter how far away from you a woman was, there was no quick way to get in touch with her before social media, smartphones, and the internet. Since there was no other way to interact with women back then, males would physically approach women to show that they were interested in them. A man had to follow social norms by dressing appropriately and even talking to the girl's parents before asking her out on a date. Men can now interact with women whenever they want, from wherever they are, and women can do the same for men. It required a lot of effort back then. Everything had to be organized by the man. That was simple and, I suppose, a little more thrilling. You probably had an image of the person in your head that you saw and liked because you couldn't look her up on social media. And that's what made guys go up to the woman and ask her out on a date face to face. Most people dated inside their own groups back then, since it was the norm. The distance posed a serious problem. Anyone, wherever in the world, can have a live online conversation with you today. Men and women did not, therefore, have access to such luxury in the past. These luxuries certainly allow people to spend less time and money on socializing and going on dates, but they also lessen the authenticity of such interactions. Why is it that men walking away puts women in a bad situation? Because with more men out of the picture and the dating marketplace, women will have to settle for men they wouldn't have wanted to date in the first place. But because there won't be more options, they will have to settle for someone who doesn't have the best looks or someone who doesn't make a lot of money. In the long term, this will also mean that the economics of dating will change entirely. Women will no longer have the highest demand and men will no longer be in excess supply. There will be more women per man and women will have to go to similar lengths men used to go to in the past to get women's attention. Today, approaching women nearly always results in being ignored or called names. Why? Because most males are perceived by women as predators or desperate men. They will be fine if they already know a guy and want him to contact them, but that is another matter. But it is simply not worthwhile for a male to approach an unidentified woman. There are too many risks. Social embarrassment, total ignorance, and a generalized dread of rejection are just some of the reasons why men choose to avoid approaching women. If a man approached a woman respectfully to start a conversation, she would likely embarrass him more often than not. In a video I saw, a man makes an absolute mess of himself by trying to talk to a woman without being rude or odd. The woman fabricated the claim that the contact was unusual and posted it to social media for laughs, attention, and perhaps a shot at becoming viral. I found myself thinking about why in the world I would want to approach a woman today as I saw this happen. To understand why this is happening, we also need to understand that different women treat different guys in different ways. I want you guys to think about social standing and how one's value affects how they are treated. Think about times when a homeless person in your own life approached you. You immediately went on the defensive and determined not to talk to them or give them anything. The same is true for women. Women are all about social status and image, even though their circumstances are significantly worse now than they were a century ago. Women must constantly be extra cautious since men may take them against their will at any time. A woman will treat different guys differently depending on their financial value. She will treat the man as though he is useless or inferior if she doesn't believe he is better than her. She would treat a man with respect and be more accepting of him, though if she feels that he is superior to her. Watch the interactions between a woman and her employer. Consider whom she would treat respectfully if they came to her, the boss or the junior. Modern women clearly have no respect for men anymore, and I think the majority of guys have decided not to talk to these women because they have realized this. Men have made the decision to just refrain from any actions that enable women to treat them disrespectfully and belittle them. Men have noticed that women's treatment of men has worsened over time. They have made the decision to put with their name, integrity, and respect before the disdain and denigration that women have shown them. Seriously, I'd be much better off avoiding women myself because, I promise, I've heard tales of girls harassing women who then call the cops on them. Obviously, there was nothing wrong with the men, they just weren't as attractive or perhaps didn't make millions of dollars. So why then would I or anyone else subject themselves to anything like this? It is not logical. Additionally, I believe that a significant portion of women is simply no longer worth contacting. I believe women desire men's validation in public so they may flaunt it in their circles, embarrass the man, and feel validated, something they might lack in every aspect of their real life. Can one even approach modern women? Not like this, I guess. Guys are done with women's unrelenting complaining and excessive demands, and that's why they are walking away. Unattractive males are not desired by women. They are not seeking somebody who drives an old car or lives in a poor neighborhood. If a man's income is less than a specific threshold, they won't consider him. Despite having everything they desire, women continue to cheat on men. They also don't want to approach men because, well, they can't even carry on a simple conversation with a total stranger. Women do say that about males who approach them, after all. Guys are now starting to realize everything. They don't have time to waste worrying about women because women don't seem to understand how generally unfair the game is for guys. Guys are walking away, and modern women are now paying the price by having fewer men in the dating marketplace. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from Man Reacts.